Throughout history, women have been treated unequal to men. Post-World War II, they were given the opportunity to have jobs that men usually had because of Reconstruction and the urgent need for workers.
The welfare state made jobs available in both the healthcare system and industries such as banking, textile, and electronics, but these jobs were still strictly segregated by gender. From the 1950s and forward, there was an influx of women immigrants looking for work in the UK to rebuild Britain.
There were men as well, but the majority was women who worked in the health service who ended up doing repetitive jobs that had poor pay and little chance of promotion. Women in the labor force aged 15 to 64 years old increased in 10 years from 45 to 51% in 1965, but they were still considered secondary to men.
Their pay was not essential to the family, but instead used as extras for holiday or new consumer durables. In Eastern Europe, which is the communist portion of Europe, women worked side by side with men, yet still had the preconceived notion that women were to stay in the house and raise a family first.
In 1968, women began to strike for getting paid 13% less than male workers because their jobs were seen as unskilled. These strikes across the country and the renewed trade union support led to the passage of the Equal Pay Act of 1970.
By mid-1970s, half of the Polish working people were made up of women and in professions including engineering, architecture, and university teaching. They were handed to more women. Third wave feminism originated in the early 1990s. 1992, known as the Year of the Woman, brought 2 new women into the Senate, making 4. The first woman to take seat in the British Parliament was in 1919, and since then there has been 148 women members as part of the Parliament. Politics are still very male-dominated, and women only account for 28% of the Parliament.
Some examples of powerful women in Europe today are Angela Merkel is the undisputed leader of Europe. Forbes magazine has crowned her the most powerful woman in the world, a title she has held for 9 of the past 10 years. She was also the first woman to serve as chancellor, a position she has held since 2005.
Helle Thorning-Schmidt has been the Prime Minister of Denmark since 2011 and the first woman to hold the post. Dalia Grybauskaitė is Lithuania's first female head of state. She has been in office since 2009, winning a second term in 2014. Emma Solberg was elected Prime Minister of Norway in 2013, having been the leader of the Conservative Party since 2004.
Arifet Jurjaga is the first female, first non-partisan candidate, and the youngest elected president in Kosovo. Elected president in 2011, she is the first female head of state in the modern Balkans. Lamdota Strahuma was appointed Latvia's first female prime minister in 2014. Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic has been serving as president of Croatia since February 2015. She's the 4th president of Croatia and the first woman to hold the office.
Ewa Kopacz, who is sometimes referred to as the Polish Margaret Thatcher, became Prime Minister of Poland in September 2014. She was first elected in the Sejm, the lower house of the Parliament of Poland, in 2001.
In India, women have been forced into marriages as young as 11 months old and given to their middle-aged husbands around 16. This was outlawed in the 2006 Prohibition of Childhood Marriage Act, but a study showed that 47% of girls in India were married before they were 18. This practice usually happens in the rural areas.
Okay, listen, if I could marry Channing Tatum, I would.